Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, help you God?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Barker, thank you for joining us. Mr. Barker, did you personally witness Kevin Ezell use NAM's funding as a direct threat to control which person a state convention hires as its leader?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what happened.
My name was being considered as the state executive director for the West Virginia Convention of Southern Baptists. And Kevin Ezell promised the committee that if they would not call me, I was one of the top candidates, that if they would not call me, but instead call someone else who was a personal friend of his, that he would put $200,000 a year in there to help pay his salary.
Did he threaten to cut off that convention's funding if they didn't do what he wanted?
That was my understanding from Ron McCoy.
And he was promising them a $200,000 bonus towards that salary if they hired the person he wanted.
Per year, yes.
And did the convention know, that NAM had no authority under its governing documents to dictate leadership?
The leadership there should have known that, but there was a lot of politics going on.
And did they ultimately pick you?
I was rejected.
And did they pick Dr. Ezell's friend?
Yes, they did.
Was that an isolated incident or part of a pattern?
Seemed to be part of a pattern. If I'm not mistaken, it also happened up in Michigan about that same time. And I know that there was money promised if they would make the call there for the right man, and heard rumors of it in other places.
Let's get some background on you. Did you work at NAM? Whoops, I don't think I heard.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And what was your role there?
I was a national missionary to the Appalachian region area and to the Mississippi River Delta.
What years?
2001 to 2017.
So you were at NAM when Dr. Ezell became president in 2010,
Yes, sir.
and you served under his leadership for 7 years.
Yes, sir.
During those 7 years, did you work closely enough with Dr. Ezell and other NAM leaders to observe how NAM dealt with state conventions and their leaders?
Yes, sir.
What kind of view did you have into that?
The Appalachian Regional Ministry was made up of the state convention directors in the Appalachian region, the WMU, National WMU from Birmingham, and the North American Mission Board in a cooperative agreement. And I had the privilege to interact with all of those state executive directors, along with those on the Mississippi River Delta, and hear their stories.
So based on your 7 years and the relationships you were just describing, describe the pattern for me. How did Dr. Ezell use NAM's financial relationship with state conventions to influence or control their decisions?
On one occasion, I was working with, I'll just give you an example. On one occasion, I was working with the Bivocational Pastors National Program, and we were asking for NAM funding, which had been cut off. And Kevin Ezell sent us an email that basically said, in simple terms, what I fund, I control. What I do not control, I do not fund.
And that was despite agreements like that saying Baptist organizations are supposed to be autonomous, correct?
Correct.
You signed an affidavit for Dr. McCraney in his lawsuit, correct?
Yes, sir.
You happen to have a copy of that with you?
No, sir, not in front of me.
In paragraph 12, that's exhibit 21 in our books, in paragraph 12, you talk about Terry Harper and then what happened at the West Virginia Convention of Southern Baptists. Do you recall that story?
You may need to refresh my memory. There were several on Terry.
Yeah, so it says, I was invited by the search committee to submit my name, and you submitted your resume, and that it's your understanding that Dr. Ezell had been consulted to give permission for my name to be put before the committee. Is that correct?
Steve Davis is the man that I talked to who told me that I had permission to put my name before the committee.
Okay. Let's talk about what happened with Clear Creek Baptist Bible College. That was in paragraph 6 of your affidavit. Can you tell us what happened there?
Yes, sir. They received a substantial amount of money from a widow out of New England who wanted to assist the Bible College in its projects that were listed in my projects manual, which was online, where they needed assistance in converting old student housing into condos for married students because the demographics of the school had changed and they needed equipment to be used there on campus. And I was quite excited about it because it was a substantial sum of money. And I let the North American Mission Board know, which ensued a conversation by text between Kevin and I that went up into the hours after midnight and resulted in my information being pulled offline and a number of threats made. It took the state executive directors to get our projects back online, but I was not allowed to work with any of our Baptist institutions after that.
So it took the intervention of Dr. White in West Virginia, or pardon, in Georgia, to bring your information back online, correct?
Yes, sir.
And did Carlos Farrar tell you anything after that about what would happen if you ever called Dr. White again for help?
That he and Steve Davis would be immediately terminated.
By Dr. Ezell?
Dr. Ezell, yes, sir.
And for what reason?
Mainly for letting me know what he was fixing to do because he kept trying to terminate me, but I was an employee of all of the state executive directors, not necessarily of NAM only. And there was a partnership agreement, and NAM had one vote at the table, not the only vote.
And so your understanding was that even if you were able to contact Dr. White, Dr. Ezell would fire other staff if they allowed that to happen?
As a vindictive act, yes.
Yes. Dr. Ezell was, or pardon, Dr. Barker, was Dr. Ezell concerned about his public persona?
Yes, sir.
In your affidavit, you mentioned you participated in lots of staff meetings and senior leadership meetings, and something unusual happened during or after those meetings. Can you tell us about that?
Can you refresh my memory?
Sure. You say those meetings were often recorded by video on numerous occasions. I personally heard Kevin Ezell instruct Mike Ebert to edit out of the video recording statements he made during the meeting. Did I get that correct?
It's an accurate statement.
And tell us more about that.
Kevin would make statements that he should not make in those meetings in relation to state conventions or just cocky, off-of-the-cuff remarks that should not have been made by a leader of a religious organization. And his response was to just tell Mike to edit those out of the comments that would be stored.
You also mentioned paragraph 5 of your affidavit. It was also my firsthand experience of interactions with Mr. Ezell that on occasions he made statements and accusations that were false and bullying in nature. Can you give us an example of that?
One of those was with me when they wanted my name withdrawn from the West Virginia Convention of Southern Baptists as state executive director. He got some folk to start saying Barker has baggage. And when they were asked what kind of baggage it was, his response would simply be or their response was to be, well, it's very highly personal and it's confidential. We can't talk about it, which led to several pastors in West Virginia confronting me and wondering what moral failure I had or what ethical problem I had, when there was no problem at all. I'd had no moral failure. I would play strictly by the books in handling money and funds and in dealing with Southern Baptists. Ron McCoy, on his deathbed, wanted me to come and visit him, and I did. And Ron said, before I die, I've got to get this off my chest. And he's the one who revealed that Dr. Ezell was behind the rumors that were to destroy me, that ultimately caused me to withdraw my name as a candidate for the position of executive director in West Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Barker. Just again, we've never met before, correct?
Correct.
And so we've never talked about your testimony.
No, sir.
Based on everything you witnessed and experienced at NAM that you've described to us today, is what happened with Will McCraney, according to what you understand of his lawsuit, consistent with how NAM operated under Kevin Ezell?
Yes, sir. Very consistent.
Is there anything about Will McCraney's situation that surprises you?
Well, in the beginning, I was surprised at how NAM went about terminating him. But then being out on the road, one of the things that occurred as a national missionary was I received phone calls from NAM trustees who were questioning me about what I was hearing out on the road, and are often talking to me about what was going on in some of those closed door meetings at NAM, and just wanted me to pray with them. And I kind of become a sounding board and begin to hear about the next steps, knowing that Michigan was a target in addition to the Maryland, Delaware. New York was a target. Pennsylvania was a target. I was with David Walsh the day he said, I've had enough, I can't take it anymore, and he resigned. I remember Jack over in the Ohio Baptist Convention having many long conversations with me about being bullied. So what happened ultimately with Will became a pattern of his behavior behind the scenes in working to manipulate, control, and get rid of those who disagreed with him.
You said they were the target, those conventions were the target of Dr. Ezell and NAM. What was the goal of the targeting? What outcome did they want?
Well, the outcome that it seemed they were trying to achieve was to remove those executive directors and put their man in place. Or I think initially the goal was to do away with all the pioneer conventions and make them as one, where they did not relate to NAM as state conventions.
Mr. Barker, is there anything else you'd like the jury to understand about your testimony or affidavit other than what you've told them already?
Other than we've only touched the tip of the iceberg. When I left the North American Mission Board, I received numerous phone calls from former employees who shared similar experiences in dealing with Kevin. And I found it sad, but at the same time interesting, that without exception, those former employees asked me, would I join the I Don't Give to Annie any longer offering campaign until Kevin left, because he lacked integrity in handling the money that was given to him through the Annie Armstrong Easter offering.
Okay. Mr. Barker, thank you so much for joining us. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you, sir, and praying for you all as you go through this procedure.